Good afternoon, everybody. DJ Styles here at Custom Corpses. Okay, back at it, baby. I promised I was going to do it yesterday, but I just ran out of energy. I had too much to do in the yard, and but I'm back at it now. I'm gonna finish this hairline here today, and then I'm gonna probably start working um, on my sculpture because I really want to start taking advantage of these nice warm days that are coming up, and I'm probably going to mold my sculpture that's over there. So, with that being said, okay, so the first thing I need to do is, all right, let me separate this, oops. There's my little pen marker. I don't need that right there. But I did find out the most important thing, and that was um, now I got a pile of hair right behind the mask that you can't see, that it's been cut from this. I've been cutting away at the mask itself. Now my plan is, if I need to, on the melded side, I'm going to use some of that orange hair to create depth with the black hair that's sitting here now. When I go to melt this side, I'll be able to actually add a lot of texture by melding the hair onto the existing hair that's there, because it will cling to it once it's melded. So it should be interesting how I'm gonna do this side of the hair. This side's pretty straightforward. Now, what happened was I layered the hair. I always do my hairline with my wool hair that I usually use, crepe hair, that sort of thing. The natural fiber, it's made out of wool. Any of those natural, real fiber hairs, you can lay them down this way. You know, when you're putting your hairline in, just the hairline, and fold it back once it dries, you know, and it'll blend in with the rest of the hair, and it really looks good. Synthetic hair, I learned a lesson, which is good because I've never done it before. I never used synthetic hair. It doesn't want to fold back. It won't fold back. So it literally was like, you know, here, and I was using an iron to try and, you know, fold it back, and it just didn't look right. It didn't feel right, and I thought the minute I start to really mess it up to try to create that messed up look in the hair, it wasn't going to work. See, now, as you can see, I cut the hair at the right length. I blended it. I took the scissors, and I literally all the lines that went across the hairlines from layering the hair at almost the same, you know, lengths that I had to blend the hair together with the scissors. That's what I did. So with that being said, guys, okay, so here's the plan. Right in the center, right here, I'm going to do probably 2 or 3 layers to give me that pompadour that I want, with the hair. And I'm thinking the very last hairline is going to be all orange, all the way down and around. I'm actually just going to do orange right on the sides here first. Then I will do this section separate, and I'll layer it over top of that area. So, but how do I want to do this? Do I want to... Okay, so here we go again with tilting the hair back. First thing I have to do is I have to cut what orange I do have here. Yeah, I had to tear the whole hairline off because of the way that was it just didn't look right. It wasn't falling right. I just rather just didn't look quite right. So we have that length to work with right now. Yeah, interesting. It's very interesting on how everything kind of. Oh, well, see, that's not good. Why is that doing that? All right, so I need to pull away a little at a time here to really. Just want to finish up the sides. I'm going to do a fairly thick blend right there. Not too thick, but not too wide either. I'm just doing it with my fingers. I'll show you what I'm doing here on the table. Hopefully this is in frame. This stuff is sticky. All right, first thing I want to do is stick a bead. I'm going right on the hairline with this. Okay. Of course. Let me grab my trash can, slide it over to me again. I'm just going to use my fingers instead of doing a paintbrush and all that stuff. Believe it or not, your fingers work the best when it comes to. Now I just put a real small bead of latex right on this edge. Now I'm going to mash that in. Make sure it's mashed in good. Hold that hair down, because when you're pulling and pushing those fibers into the wet latex, you don't want to. Now the other thing I'm going to do, because it's the hairline, is I'm really going to cut this really short. See, I'm cutting this. Now, there's only very little. There's only very little of the. I want to go this way with it. Shoot, the weight of it doesn't want to. Okay, that worked. I guess staggering that line a little bit too looks a little better. It looks more natural. If you have it all real squared off, it may not look that good. So just remember to push that in there. Okay. That's nice because this length is nice and short. It's not too too long there. Just got to make sure my latex is out of my fingers before I move on to the next. Layering, the next bead. Just got to work it a little bit at a time, and yeah, this should look pretty good when this is all done. I'm going to have to make this just a little bit thicker and dense, the hairline, because I think what's happening here. Okay. I don't want it too thick on the sides because it's supposed to be thinner on the side of his head, the hair, so to speak. Okay. I'm literally putting this latex. Now, this is mask latex for those who've never joined me. This is not regular latex that you buy at Spirit of Halloween. You have to get professional mask latex. It's a very thick latex. You couldn't do this with that type of latex that you get at Spirit or any other place because it's too thin. This is thick and goopy, and it acts as a perfect glue. Nothing sticks better to latex than latex, and that's why I stick with my guns with using latex. I don't like using anything else other than latex when I hair. I can use tacky glue. Some people swear by it. I don't know. I don't see the purpose of doing that. Come on, really? I have to say, the synthetic hair is harder to work with. One, it gets loaded with static electricity. That was my bucket of latex that I guess the handle fell. Okay, squares that off. And then just kind of and that's far enough with this. Now, when this latex dries, it'll be somewhat translucent. So I'll be able to clean up those edges with a little paint or whatever. Yeah, I think that's far enough up, so to speak. And because it's staggered ever so slightly, you see how like the little fibers are a little longer in some places than others? It'll give a more natural look when it's dry. It'll really look more like it'll look more realistic, but I don't like this. Okay. Better. I don't want that latex going down onto the mask too much. Now the problem is this has to dry some before I can even work on the rest. Because of the weight of that hair, if I tilt that mask upward, there's no way that this will, there's no way that that'll stay on. If I let this dry for about a half hour, it'll be perfect. Yeah, I let it dry for about a half hour. Meanwhile, can I pause? Can I pause the phone? Can I pause that? I don't know. I have to learn how to pause because I don't want to end the stream. I want the video to stay the same. So I don't want to make 3 videos just on this little. All I have to do is pause it for about a half hour to 45 minutes. Maybe an hour. I'll give it an hour just to make sure that it's firm enough to where I can tilt it up and then do the other side. That's going to be the hairline. And I'm going to stick with orange all the way through. I think once I have both sides done and they're firmed up, then I'll start working on the top and give it that real nice pompadour look. You know what? I need to put a little more on here. This isn't quite where the hairline has to be here. It has to go right to here. And as I'm looking at it, I can see that it won't look right if I come too far over with the Pompadour. So with that being said, guys, just make another strand of hair just to put right there. It's cool. I love this. I really do. And this became a new passion for me in such a short amount of time. It's crazy. Um, I've only been doing the mask business now for um, oh, almost 2 years. I'm going to say probably like 18 months. I also lose track of time too, so it might be over 2 years for all I know. But I claim not to be any expert. I'm not an expert of this by far. I'm definitely not an expert. I am an artist, so I have that on my side. I've been an artist all my whole life, but I've never done masks. I've never done latex. I've never sculpted in clay all through those years. What I did do was I worked with wood. I didn't work with clay. I'm trying to bring that hairline right to where the hairline actually is, to give it a very natural look. Um, yeah, that's perfect. Now I can let that dry for about an hour, maybe a little more. I don't know. I have to never actually figured out. Well, no, it's about an hour. It's actually less than that. It'd be less than that, but I just want to make sure the fibers don't come undone and it doesn't come off the mask. When I go to tilt this up, this can't. I don't want it to be soggy, which I don't think it will be because when I mashed it into the fibers, it really is. It's not really thick. The thicker you have your latex, the longer it takes to dry. Just a natural problem. Now in here, once I get this side done, I'm going to put several layers to try and bulk this up, and I'm going to do thick hair. I'm going to use this for the other side. I hope I have enough. If not, I have enough over here to do what I need to do. But all of this is going to be orange all the way going back. The reason why is this side's going to get melted. And yesterday I learned, I didn't save the video, but I took a strand of the orange and the black and I took it out back and I used the heat gun on it, which reminds me I'm going to be able to use the heat gun inside. I'm not going to have to go outside to do this. So that's going to be really nice, because when I melt the hair, what I learned yesterday was the color. I didn't lose the color. The black stayed black, the orange stayed orange. So that's going to be cool. That'll give me depth, and even if I have to throw a little bit more black hair mixed in on this side, uh, it'll give me what I'm looking for. It'll give me the effect that I'm looking for. This side, I may have to add a little black streaks in here to give it depth. I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to do that. We'll see. I may even use just some sort of acrylic paint underneath. I don't know. So you got to remember what this is, what this represents. The orange hair and the black hair and all that stuff. What I'm trying to do is actually make a poster art uh, in Halloween Kills is as he's coming out of the burning building. This is what you see. You don't really see the white mask, or you don't see the, it's actually cream colored. What you're seeing is the reflection of the flames that are around him onto the mask, and it gave it a yellow in the center and red on the sides, and the hair was glowing orange. Well, that's what I'm looking to try and captivate. It's actually a visual effect, is all we're trying to replicate. Um, I have to mess the hair up. I've never worked with the synthetic hair. I hope it messes up really nice, where you can it'll get messy looking, like matted and stuff. I have to be able to mess it up. I'm gonna rub it once this is all dry. I'll rub the hell out of it on the top of the head, especially where the pompadour is, and then probably use a urethane spray. You have to understand the reason why I have to be careful on what I use on here. I don't think hairspray is going to cut it. I think I'm going to have to use an acrylic of some kind, because it's clinging to. This is actually made of the hair fibers are made of. Oh, come on. Not urethane. Come on. Nylon. I'm drawing a blank. I don't know. Yeah, these are nylon fibers. So, and the reason why I chose to use the synthetic hair is because I think in the screen used mask, they put synthetic hair on this side of the mask. This way, when they melted the hair, it really balled up and got real yucky looking. And yeah. This is just fun. This is just fun. Nick Malpagano, thank you for the whole point of doing this. Doing this picture mask. I watched his video, and this is basically, I followed his steps on how to paint him, and from there, it was pretty much the hair is my idea. May not work. May work. We don't know. We don't know. But I definitely have to increase this pompadour in this area. Big time. So the first bead's going to be right up against where this bead is. And that's going to be the first hairline when I get in the center here. Then I'm going to follow that hairline. I'm just going to build this up so it's sticking up really high, right on top of the head, to give it a more, the correct look. So I just got to watch. I don't want too thick of a bead in here. I want to make sure that the beads aren't too thick. This way, when I go to mess up the hair, it'll mess up. It'll really give me a nice, I'll be able to style the hair in such a way where it'll really look good. I'm hoping it looks good. I don't know. Never messed up the synthetic hair. I don't know if it'll stay. Well, I don't think it'll stay. You're going to have to, I'm going to have to, not but I'm going to have to probably add the urethane spray into the hair to keep it in place. People won't be able to restyle this hair. Once it's in place, it's not going anywhere. So that's the plan. And I can't wait to get to the point where we're going to melt this side. That's going to be cool. The reason why there's black on this side is because I need depth. When I melt this, I want to have some black underneath and orange. When I think about it more and more, I wish I had done the black all the way across the whole head, just to have that depth as I mess up the hair. You would have seen dark hair underneath the bright orange, just like you would with a reflection off of fire. But it's an experiment, and I still not sure how I want to do this as far as how the end result's going to be. That remains to be seen. Don't know how the end result's going to be. I'm kind of like, I'm not pausing that. I don't think I can. I don't think I can pause it, so I'm just going to talk through it. Let me see if I can put this up right now. Ooh, no, that wants to fall. Now, if I take it easy that way, okay. Now the start of this hairline comes to here, where the front. So I have to put a bead of hair there. I have to put a bead. Let me see if I can do that without putting it up on its edge. Okay. This could work. Might work. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go a little thinner on this side because it's getting melted anyway. So there won't be as much weight pulling down on the mask, on the hair, so to speak, so it doesn't want to fall forward. So let's see if this works. Let's see if this works. Try not to go too far in with this. This way I don't have to do too much cutting. It gives it that, it maintains that natural look. But I definitely want to make sure that all those hair fibers, I got to really press that latex into those hair fibers because you don't want any loose ones. I'll start from the top. I don't know if I should do that. No, I'll work from the bottom, just like I did there. Nope, not gonna do it. Gotta work from the top. Boy, this is a mess. Ah, boy. Need a popsicle stick to push this down. My hands got a little too much latex on them, so let's try. Let me reach behind me. I think I have some popsicle sticks behind me. Sorry, I'm blocking the camera. So where did I put them? Oh, where did my popsicle sticks go? All right, so let me grab something else. It might work. I don't know how to grab. Perfect. This will actually, I'm using one of my carving tools. And I'll be able to clean the latex right off of that. That's no big deal. All right, so. All right. I don't like that. I don't like where that's going. There was a couple fibers sticking out. There we go. Better. Yeah, remember this side gets melded, so it's not like it's going to be. I'm gonna have to rebead that right there. Did I go too far over? I think I did. That's okay. It's not gonna matter because I can put a bead right over top of that when I go to thicken this. Got to remember this side gets a little bit more flat from the burn, so that's okay. Let me try. Looks like that side's starting to dry just a little bit. Yeah, we might be in a home run here. I just got to be careful how I move this. This could be a home run, guys. Just have to be careful. That's all. When you're take the extra. Go a little slower. That's all. Right. Perfect. Stand's going to be right in my way here. This closer. I want this bunched up more. Believe it or not, the sides aren't about, it's just about covering up this area. This side especially, because it's going to be burnt. Feels like I put too much glue, too much too much. This side I got to do a little at a time because it'll really get messed up if I don't do it correctly here. Looks like I put a little too much hair. That'll dry. You won't see it over time, especially once I melt this. You won't see. Let me cut that with this. Really had to get this done. I want to get this out of the way. I gotta finish my sculpture. That's important now because the weather's finally starting to break here. this done. Get this back out of get this out of my way, because this is only just being rehauled for somebody. This is an overhaul, so to speak. Just wiping it onto the table, because the latex won't stick to this table, it's plastic. It'll roll right off of that. All I gotta do is rub it and it'll come right off. Don't want it on my pants though. The hair fibers are a nightmare. Now, what I decided to do from now on is just cut the loose ends, so it's not hanging into the mask, so to speak. Okay, go back to my tool and push it down. Cut this little come on, get off. Really? It's going to be pretty cool when this is done, I think. Come on, get off. Too much latex on my fingers. I don't want that. I'm trying to. Latex will grab the latex and mess up what I'm working on. It'll mess it up for sure. Cool. Got paper towels right there. It'll roll that right off my finger with no problem. I want to clean that edge up because break out the tool this time. I'm definitely trying to get the hair to go up a little more with this layer. Now, this isn't the cleanest job that I've done, but this stuff is a pain in the ass, so to speak. Excuse my language. I have to make sure I have enough latex into the fibers to hold the weight, because this stuff's heavier than the natural fibers. And the natural fibers like to cling to each other, so it acts almost like an extra glue. Like when you lay that hair on top of the fiber hair, natural fibers, it clings to the hair so that the weight's being picked up. This stuff wants to slide because this stuff's really slippery. It wants to slide right off. So that's why I have to jack the side of the mask up to even get it to cling. Yeah, that side's starting to firm up enough to where I can. Perfect. Yeah, baby, yeah. Mm-hmm. When I go to style this, it should do the trick. Let me see, what is this mess that I have here? I need these fibers here. I'll have just enough to finish this mask with this orange stuff that I bought. It's not going to go beyond this mask. I thought it would last. I thought I had more than enough, but nope. I bought just enough to finish the job. No doubt that this is going to use up everything I got. Really? Man, this stuff's messy. So what's nice about doing the overhaul, the rehauls, or whatever you want to call them, is you're not really infringing on copyright. You're just repainting something that somebody else has done, and you're selling it, and you're paying for the art. That's what you're paying for. You want the artist to redo your mask, you can have them do that. Go buy a Trick or Treat Studios mask, because that's what this is. It's not my mask. And then have him rehaul it, make it look, cool, make it look authentic. But it's not cheap. I think the average overhaul, no matter who does it, it's going to be $200 just for the artist. So, you're still going to spend $260 on a mask like this, $270 for a mask like this. In the end, that's where you're going to be. But some people really are big fans, and they want it as close to the actual screen used mask as possible. I understand that. I totally do. Me, I want an original sculpt. Look at that. That fits so perfect. Oh, I didn't even realize that's going to blend this orange and black together right in here. That's going to be cool. All right. Gotta love that. Okay. So that sits for another 20 minutes or so. Yeah, see, that just cleaned right off my needle with no problem. Just mash that down while it's nice and wet. Fibers are all being pushed into the latex. Yeah, it's already starting to firm up there. That's awesome. Now I'll have to blend this in once it's dry. I'll have to blend the fibers in from this side. But meanwhile, I'm going to turn this around just to make sure this other side's not falling off on me. Nah, we're perfect. Oh yeah. I'll put a nice pompadour in there. See, when this is dry completely, I'm probably going to wait until later on tonight to do the center because I can't really, I want to fold this forward a little bit, this section of hair, so I can put some hair underneath of that to make it stick up a little bit higher. Yeah, that's the plan going forward. Oh yeah, that's firming up nice. Believe it or not, it actually looks like a natural hairline a little bit on this side. Gosh, now, let's see, I'll turn it so you can see it a little bit. See how it's becoming translucent a little bit in here? Starting to get, translucent. So, and even up here it's starting to firm up. You remember, I'll brush out the loose fibers still too. Oh, this is going to work no matter what. I can just, I can put this right over top of that. Yeah, I got to wait a little bit before I can slant this forward again and then work on this top part. Yeah, I think I'll be okay. Because that's, this side's actually going to get melded all the way almost to this point right here. This all gets melded, so it gets matted down a little bit more anyway, so it'll have that melt look to it. It's going to be cool. Now what I'll do is once I get the fibers all on here and build up, I'll spread the hair where I'm going to melt it so you can see the black to give it depth. I'll spread the hair out a little bit and then I'll melt that so you'll see that hair underneath that, you'll see the black. You'll see that you won't be able to tell that it's hair, but you'll be able to see more depth into the orange, because if it was solid orange you wouldn't see any depth to the styling. It's pretty cool no matter how you look at it. Yeah, I'll have just enough hair to I can do a little bit right here now if I think about it. I can do just a little bit, but I'm going to put some thick hair like right here. But I want it really thick in small sections. Because I got to get that pompadour look, and that's going to be long enough to give me what I'm looking for. It's got to be a little thicker there. So we're going to put some latex right here. I'm going to put some underneath of this because it came undone a little bit. whenever I put the hair on this, I usually make sure that's really cool. Is I'll be able to keep layering this now that I think about it. Right in this spot. I can't really do too much more though. I just want to make sure those fibers don't come off. Okay, next batch. Keeping it thick too. Since this is positioned where it won't fall, I'm just going to work this section right here, and then I'll only have to do this section. And a little bit of stuff that's on the table, I just pick it up with my finger and I mash it into the hair too. No, most of this latex don't get wasted, believe me. I don't like to waste anything. Latex is mask latex is very expensive. It is roughly $145 for 5 gallons. Yeah, it's $145. I just looked at it the other day. It's $145 for 5 gallons, and then you got to add the shipping. And shipping ain't cheap with latex, because 5 gallons of latex is 40 pounds. Believe me, I know. 40 pounds. You can do your own math with that. I don't know how they calculate the weight on how much it costs, but it ain't cheap. All right, so I'm going to cut a little bit of these fibers off. And we still got one more layer to go with that. We got one more layer to go right on the hairline. And then I'll be done this side. Now the next layer, I'm going to make longer hair. This way it holds this down over top. Oh yeah. Okay, so boy, I hope I have enough to do this whole thing. I really do. The nice thing is, I'm going to be adding, I have spare hair like here, sitting here. that I'm going to be adding black with the orange anyway, because I pretty much have to. All right, so what we need to do is we need to put a bead right on this. Perfect. Oh, and that's nice, of course. Now I'm just cutting some of this length off here. I want it to be straight across when I go to do this bead of glue on here. Say glue, bead of latex. It's latex, not glue. Mash it in there really good. You want every fiber clung to that latex. Stuck. You want that latex in between every fiber, because then that hair will not come off. If it's all saturated with latex, it won't go nowhere. Now I already know that this is going to be the last layer. I can't use this orange. So maybe I do put a little bit of black hair in here. I can still do that. And it'll give me my depth that I'm after, which is really cool, you know? I have some mixed hair here where it's got orange and black in it. That's what I'll do there. Okay, what did I use? I use my tool here. That's what I want. I'll throw a little more. Now, second thought, no, I don't want to do that. I'll clean that up later. Yeah, I still think I'm going to have to do a lot of blending and stuff once this hair's on top of here. But I needed a lot more hair on this because of the Pompadour. You don't know what a Pompadour is? It's kind of like an area where your hair sticks up higher. They used, back in the day, they used to comb a Pompadour into their hair by teasing their hair in the front, and then the final layer they would comb it back over top of the teased hair. I guess I don't know. I'm not a stylist. I don't know nothing about it. I just know I'm just trying to create a look. That's all I'm trying to do right now. A Pompadour is a look, a fashion. It was big in the 50s. Big in the 50s. Pompadours. My father had one. when he was young. You know, that's crazy. So I'm going to let that dry. That's got to. That really has to sit now because I can't start playing around with that, turning it. Well, actually, I can turn it some, but very little. Yeah, that actually helped it. But do I want to? No, see, it's got too much. It'll have too much weight trying to hang down in here if I. Yeah, we might be able to keep going here. Yeah, I think I will. As a matter of fact, I think we will. We're going to keep on going. All right, cool. Only I can't use that hair. Now, see what that's creating? I don't know if you can see that from that angle, but where the hair drops back, it created a bulge on top of the head, which is perfect. And once I muss it up, it'll all intertangle by having that top layer longer than the underneath hair. I'll be able to intermingle that together and make it look like it's all one. So yeah, why not? Let's do this. To give this bad boy some depth. Huh. And this is even the right length. Gotta love this. Am I making a mistake by putting the black hair underneath? I don't think I am. You know what? I want to make sure that the tapered orange is going to the back side though. Yes, sir. Use what you got, baby, as they say in the world. You got it, flaunt it, baby. Cool. All right. That wasn't smart. Hmm. Just throw a little bit more hair. Okay. Well, Why drive me crazy? Why's it gotta be this hard? This stuff is a pain in the arse. If you dig my meaning. One, you dummy, you shouldn't have used your hands. You should have stuck to your guns with using the yeah, I made that too long. That's all right. Making it thick there, guys. Next, okay. So the next thing I want to do here. This one here definitely has to be trimmed because this hair, for some reason, has a curl in it. It's probably right where I am. Oh, that's going to work better for me anyway. Because I have to flip it over upside down. Oh, you gotta love it. I'll make the next one the hairline. No. One more thing of hair to go. And then we move on to the orange hairline here, right over top of the black. Man, am I getting messy. The room's messy. Everything's messy. Just doing my fingers because your fingers, believe it or not, the latex doesn't stick to your fingers. The latex does not stick to your fingers. Dries on your fingers really fast too. That's what's really nice about the latex. Okay, now I do the orange hairline here. I got to make darn sure that I don't go any further than this point. So that's as far as that goes. Come on, get off of there. This is longer hair. That was that little pile that I kept off to the side there because I knew I had to use it. I can't wait to get this mess cleaned up in here. I really can't. I can't stand this. Whew, this is messy. I don't know how good my volume is. Can you hear me real good? Hopefully it's good because I've been talking pretty low. Some people in this house work the night shifts, so I have to be careful. I can't be too loud. Okay. We'll see how this falls. Definitely got to cut the edge on this. Okay. Now what I have to do here is back to the tool to push it down good. I didn't go far enough forward with the hair. I pushed it back too hard, I guess. I think. Yeah. Perfect. Always one hair that just gets right in the way. I'm just trying to clean up this. You don't want that latex getting too hard on your finished product. Geez, I only have that little section to do. It's really not that much. And it's all about wait, hurry up and wait. I'm glad that messed up a little bit because that gave me more of a natural hairline. Um, and you know, I could paint in here even if that hairline doesn't come perfectly down to where it should be. So, with that being said, I need more black hair. Here it is right here. Small section. Remember, I got a layer, like a couple layers here. Is that going to be enough right there? Not quite. This is going to be enough, though. Of course that would grab onto that. I wouldn't have any other way, would I? Stick to that for a while, yeah. Go stick over somewhere else. Go stick somewhere else. You're driving me crazy. Oh man, I can't wait to clean up. I can't stand this. I don't think I'm going to be doing synthetic hair ever again. At least I have to do it a different way. Although, I gotta say, I'm pretty comfortable. I'm pretty comfortable right now, so I can't complain. It's all about comfort when you're working with this kind of work. It really is, tell me, especially at this age. You get old and you start talking to me about how you... Oh, come on, really? Get off of there. All right, back to this. Push that in. Push it in. Okay, I have to pull that just a little bit further over so it's not, there you go. Yeah, this stuff wants to slip right off that other hair, and any kind, if it's too heavy over here, it's going to pull the hairline back. That's what happened right here. It pulled it back without me knowing it, because I couldn't see it with all the, you know, the latex, the fresh latex on there. So, yeah, it changed the hairline. Which is okay because I got more bulk out of it now. So. Yeah, one more layer of that, and then I got the orange hair to put on there. And when I put the orange hair on there, I'm going to pull it all the way forward and overlap it on this side right here. So it'll be awesome. I'm just going to use what's left here for that. gotta remember, when you're doing the under layers, your edges don't have to be perfect, but I still like a neat job. Now it's gonna feel really thick, right above this hairline, like really gummy, like a real thick bead of. When you touch the head, it'll feel. Um, it's gonna feel thicker because. Yeah, that's the way I want it, right there. I'm gonna sneak that in there. Sneak that in here. All right, get my hands out of there. That just makes it harder. This is all about the Pompadour. Perfect. Okay, the last bit of hair. I don't need that much. Be about that much. Right in there. That's the hairline. Now I got to make sure that I really mash in that latex good into all the fibers here. Because yeah, this is already firmed up really. Ooh, not that firmed up. Don't go rubbing it, Johnny boy. I'm just misjudged my distance. I don't have my glasses on. So I went right into it. Oops, crash landing. If I was a pilot, I would have been buried into the dirt. That's why pilots have to have perfect vision, especially depth perception. Very, very important, as Elmer Fudd would say. Get off of me. Go to clean. Oh, man. Yes, sir. That's looking pretty good. All right, so now a nice big fat bead from here over to here. Okay. Don't gum it up with your fingers this time. Use the tool. Use the tool. What I'll do is after I'm done this, I'll end the tutorial, I'll end the video, and then I'll be back tonight. this will be movable at that point. And we'll be able to see the results. Now I'm gonna have to stick some more hair right here, because that hairline ain't right. Is that hairline right there? Yeah, it is. I'm gonna have to stick a little more hair right there, which is fine because it's the Pompadour. It's gonna make it work better. So I'm just gonna put a little more hair. I'll put a bead here. Just bring that hairline down just a little bit, which is perfect because I just about out of orange hair for this. Oh, really? Had to get that on my shirt, didn't you? My nice clean black shirt. Get off. Get off. Alrighty. Here we go, guys. Here goes nothing. Finishing touches. And because this latex is still somewhat wet, unlike any kind of glue can be problematic. I can stick hair on top of hair on the edges because the latex will blend into each other. It'll grab everything. It'll be, come on, man, this stuff is such a mess. Such a mess. Okay. Now see, I made that hairline really nice because this is going to fall just like that. And I don't want to use anything but the tool at this point because I can still feel latex on my fingers. If I got some little dried latex, it'll stick to this hair. I'm just going to make sure my hands aren't grabbing at it. I think we're good enough, guys. That's it. That is the finished hairline. I definitely don't want to move that too much. Yeah, and I achieved it. I did. I got the Pompadour up nice and high on this side, especially this side. More important than this side because this side gets melded, more matted looking, but this side's got the hair where it needs to be. I can't wait to see how the end result is on this. And I want to blend, I don't want any like on the hairline, especially. You don't want it to where you have a calic, and that's what they are. If you think about, you know what a calic is. I hope you guys don't have to explain what a calic is, but it's like a little spot where your hair kind of like goes in a different direction, and it causes calics in our natural hair. And if I have one hair like I have a bunch of hair going this way and another one going that way, it creates a little calic in that spot. So what I do is I push the hair over top of where that calic is. All right. And now we have a natural, and why does this keep falling forward? All right, hold on. I got to pull this forward. I got to pull this forward and down. It's I know what's going on. It's there we go. Do it while it's wet. Maybe I'll throw just a little spot of hair right there. And I have the perfect amount that's going to go right in the center there. Ain't that cool? Ain't that cool? That is cool. Gave it a nice edge. I have it leaning more forward now. Oh yeah, that Pompadour is actually very, it's you can see it real well now. It's got the right thickness right in here. That was literally flat. I can tell you right now, though, along this whole edge here, it's going to feel so thick and rubbery underneath the hairline. But we're going to fix that. Well, we can't fix it. There's nothing much we can do with that, honestly, because I had bunched up the hairlines as you saw me do. Wow, that made the difference. Okay. That really made the difference right there. Okay, back to the tool, mash it in there good. Now what I'm doing is I'm reassuring that I have all the latex mashed into every fiber by pushing down on this. And this is a learn as you go. I've never worked with the synthetic hair, and believe me, it ain't no picnic. The other stuff's so much easier. I want to say, if you use camel hair or wool, or even the, what do you call it, creep hair, that stuff works so much easier. It's so much easier to manage. This stuff is slippery and it wants to slide off of it. It doesn't cling to anything. So every time you bring a layer up, you have to adjust the mask. So this way the weight is balanced. So this way it's not pulling back. It kept doing that right in here, and pulling away from the actual original hairline. And I was like, what's going on here? And I wasn't seeing it because it was happening real slow. The weight was pulling it back. So now with this being like that, I'm going to pull this forward just a little bit so I don't have any weight pulling on the hairline. See, it's already doing it right there. I can see it. I'll be damned. I had it right on the hairline. All you got to do is just and then you mash it back down. Now it won't slide because I have enough weight up top. Yeah, it's a nice pompadour. So I'm going to take the camera off of here so you can see the pompadour is now on this. Now you got to remember all this still has to dry. It has to yeah. This side gets melted, so you're not really going to see a lot of the All right, so I'm going to take the camera off. All right, give you a straight on shot. See how the pompadour is right up in the air now, nice and high? That's what I did. And that's the hairline. That is the hairline for the fire mask. I'm going to call it the fire mask. That's it. So when that dries, that'll pretty much be translucent right in here. You won't see any of that. You won't see the latex, which is a good thing. That'd be pretty cool, man. I can't wait to see this when this is melted. I'm going to melt that tomorrow, Tuesday. Yeah, today's Monday. Yeah, Tuesday. I'm melting that hair tomorrow, so that's a whole nother video. Oh, I'm sorry. Who's on with me? I couldn't read because I didn't have my. Oh man, Crusher, you're there. Sorry, man. You joined me at 4:07. I'm not even sure what time it is right now. But take a look, buddy. I got the hairline done. And you see how the pompadour is now on the top of the head? I thickened up the top by layering in those layers of, so it's pretty much done. Sorry, I didn't have my, I don't have my monitor on. I didn't think you would be joining me. Yeah, now this side's going to get melted, and then what I did was I did put some black hair underneath of this to give me more depth when I go to style it. I'll be able to let that black hair underneath kind of shine through in spots. But the pompadour, that's going to get rubbed real good once this is really good and hard. The only thing that I don't like, and it's, oh well, there's not much I can do. Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. I like the fiery orange hair. It's it's different. Synthetic hair is it's harder to work with. Much harder to work with. And the reason why, it's made out of nylon. All right, so it's not multiple fibers. It's like different. It's all one type of fiber, and it's nylon and it's slippery. Nylon doesn't want to stick to each other. It's so if I put stuff here, and if I don't have that mask adjusted so where the weight's balanced, it literally keeps pulling away. Like I had the head tilted back, too far up, and all this it kept pulling away from the hairline. But now I've got the weight balanced, and the hairline staying where it needs to be. So it's much harder to work with the nylon. I think what I really am going to do is I'm going to buy real human hair. I think that's going to be my next test. I want to see how it is with real human hair, see what that looks like. And I don't want poker straight hair. I want a wavy hair when I do it. I think real human hair, and then maybe I got to figure out what kind of glue I can use that's real. Maybe Mod Podge. Yeah, because that's thick. I can use Mod Podge to and I'll trim up the hair here on the sides. I don't know though, because you don't get that authentic melt look without using synthetic. So when I get to the point where I make my Kills mask out of that guy right over there, yeah, I'm gonna do real human hair on one. I definitely am doing that. And that'll probably be in between getting this done first. I have to get this done and be ready for. I did some more smoothing out on this. I did a lot more smoothing. It's I got all the lumps and bumps that were in the sculpture pretty much out, and I'm talking little ones. They're very little. I used a rake on this last night. I raked it real good, but when you rake it, you're using a real fine rake where you're just, you're crisscrossing, you're going in every direction, and what that does is if there's any kind of little lumps in the face, yeah. So I yeah, I just it's ridiculous. What was I getting at? I lost my train of thought. Somebody just texted me directly to my phone. I tried to read what he was saying. Anyway, yeah, so it got all the lumps out. It got all the little tiny bumps that were on the surface that you can't really get out with your hands or flat tools. You have to rake it because the rake actually allows the flat area to stay and yet rakes off the tiny lumps, if that makes sense. In other words, if I have an area that's just as lumpy as my hand, like you see the top, the very ridge of my hand, well, what the rake does is it knocks down all the high spots, and then you get a nice, even, flat surface. What's the next step for the sculpt? Actually, I'm going to be putting in the 78 on the back of the mask. I'm going to I'm not going to film that. You know what? It might be easier instead of drawing it, because I want my text letters to match. See, the problem is my text that's on my sculpture is actually a font. All right. And I want to match the font as close as possible. And so what I might do is dig up the numbers 7 and 8 and enlarge them in the font that I used for the I think it was either Night Creeper or Custom Corpses. It matches one of the two. And it's bloody. No, I think it's the custom or the Night Creeper. It matches the Night Creeper font. And what I'm going to do is actually use that same font and only increase the size and put the number 7, 8 right on the back of the mask. So I might just copy that to paper and cut it out and then kind of tape it and then outline the whole 7, 8, the 7 and the 8, outline it onto the clay. And then from there, carve it in, and then work on really fine tuning the sculpture. I want to make sure it's really perfect because I don't want to have to say 6 months down the road, oh man, I should have changed this or I changed that. You know what? If it isn't where I want it to be now, I give up. All right, so this is done. Let me push this table back and I'm going to go face my. All right, so what do you think, guys? I mean, is this going to be cool or is this a waste of time? This is going to be the burnt side over here. Hopefully this works out really well. You can see it starts to get translucent. So it's already drying. Okay, let me push my table back out of the way. All right, that's out of my way now. I'll have to clean all my scissors, clean all this up now that I got the herring done. I'm going to have to use a little bit of the hair yet. I'm going to take some of that orange hair,
And when I melt this down over here, depending on how it looks, I'll just take bits and pieces of hair and put it on there and then melt it right to it. I want to make sure that the highlights really pop because there is a lot of black hair under there. So we'll see. We'll see. I'll have to comb it all out, even it up, make sure that the pompadour remains, and then blend that with scissors into the top of the head. And then from there, I will melt the sides, but none of that gets done till tomorrow. So tomorrow I will blend this. Yeah, the white glue goes. It turns translucent. It's latex. It's latex. It's not glue. It's actually latex. It's mask latex. So yeah, that'll disappear. That'll get translucent or fleshy, and even that, I'll be able to paint it, to match whatever I need to do. It'll hide it. It'll hide it when I'm done, and especially the melding. That'll be the last phase of it, though. If anything isn't quite hidden, if it still sees a little bit of it, it'll turn like a dark, fleshy color. And what I'll do is I'll break out my paints that I painted this guy with. Right above the top of the head of my sculpture, you'll see my orange containers, and there's a black one over here. There's yellow, orange, and then there's red. And all I have to do is paint that into the hairline, so it'll hide it. Yeah, you won't see any of that. It'll be pretty cool when it's done. It'll be cool. The pompadour is where it needs to be. It's a little lower on this side, but that's a good thing because this is what gets melted all the way almost to the center of the head right here. And then this side sticks up higher and it gets matted down a little bit further. It's not going to stick up that high, but it'll be pretty cool. I think this is going to turn out all right. We'll see. We don't know. We don't know until we know. So it should be fun to. It's just an experiment for me. I never worked with synthetic hair, and I haired the one thing I did learn with synthetic is you can't put a layer on your hairline and then have the hair laying down on the face and then try to fold it back after it just doesn't want to fold. It fights you. Yeah, he'll be here tomorrow. He said he couldn't. Was it him that said? Yeah, he said he couldn't actually join me today. Not until like 10 o'clock. He don't get done work till 10 p.m. or something like that. So, but he'll get to see this video because I'm going to upload this video. I don't know how long it'll take because it takes forever. I didn't upload the last two videos where I did the testing of the hair, melding it and all that stuff. I didn't bother with that. The last two videos, because the one I was just talking to you guys. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, there's going to be a delay because you're over in you're pretty far away. So, oh man, I've been working a lot outside today too. On top of it, I don't know what time zone. Are you on East Coast? Are you on the Eastern times, Crusher? What time is it where you're living? It is. I'm not even sure what time it is here. Hold on, let me see. It's 4:30 p.m. here. Okay, let me get turned around here. And I'll show you what I kind of been doing with this. I gave this a little bit more character. All right. So what I did was I carved out in here just a little bit, almost V-shaped in this area. And it's, you can see that little V right in here. It's very subtle, but the light's shining on it, so it makes it look really dominant. And I did the same thing over here. I carved out in this area. So you're 5:30 p.m. over there, where you're at? Yeah, and you see how much smoother the head is? I smoothed out. I used a rake on this. I raked it out. I got all the little lumps and bumps out of it. me see if I can turn it. Yeah, see, it's all the lumps and bumps are out of this now. You don't see any lumpy stuff. It's really smooth. I did some work to the lips. I put the little bumps right where the lip on the lips, just a little. Yep, and I still have to smooth out this area here. I have to. I was doing that with my hand. That turned out pretty nice. Now I got to do is add a little moisture to it. Hold on, I'm trying to do that with my right hand and hold that at the same time. Not a cool thing to do. Right in here, I got to fix this area right here. Looks like there's a little bit of a... How do I want to do that? It's hard to get in with a tool. That's the problem. Let me see if I can get a really small ball peen, a little... Oh, look at that. Wasn't that magic? I just completely cleaned that edge up. Just those little tricks. Oh, not quite where I want it now. I can still see the shadow. All right, not good. Hold on. It's just a little tiny... You're only working with crumbs of clay here. See how little that clay that came off of there? That's the difference between good and bad. Yeah, that definitely did it. Now let's see what happens when I brush this. Oops, sorry. Yeah, that took that out of there. Now it looks natural. Now when you look down onto the face, you can see that the lips are where they're supposed to be. Yeah, it's a perspective. You have to really look at this from all angles. You really do. You can't just look at this at one angle and come away with a really nice sculpture. It doesn't work that way. But tonight I'm going to be working on the 78 on the back side of the mask. I'm going to put it right underneath of where it said custom or Night Creeper. It'll say Night Creeper 78. And we're looking at probably... Yeah, I think I'm going to have to, I just realized something. This here, right here, it's a little too wide between here and here. This is supposed to come out just a little bit further. So that's going to be an adjustment that I make tonight too. It just has to come out just a little bit more. It has to be more uniform to this side. Yeah, it's still not quite, it's just a little too far over. Let me see. Actually, this is pretty close to what, oh yeah. You see where this ridge is? And how you fall a line is you want to look where the nostril is. And that's where that lip is. Yeah, see, I got to bring that out to here. See? It's over here. I got to bring that to fall into that line. It's at the top, it's almost there. But at the bottom, it goes too far wide. So these little adjustments, man, that's where it's at. That's the difference between having a really good mask and something that isn't so good. And your eye has to pick up on those little tiny things. You can't just let it go. Now, when they did that, that's actually very correct the way this is sculpted. Very human-like. I was looking at different human anatomy profiles, overhead shots, underhead shots, and I had all the lines drawn for giving you the pitches of what it's supposed to be. And thank God I knocked that chin back because that was the issue. That chin was too far out. Even on this Halloween 2018 mask, the chin comes out too far. And what I mean by that is if you look at a profile of this, all right, and you see the neckline, all right, look at your neckline. It's pitched, all right, downward, all right. Now this jawline, this chin and lip area come way out in front of the scowl, right at the top of the nose, right at the top of the nose, the furthest point right here. That chin should be lined up with that brow. But here's how it works. It goes out, and it comes underneath the nose, it goes out a little bit, and then it tucks back in. That's that pitch line. I'll show you what that pitch line's supposed to be. You ready? Hold on. Let me have you something you'll be able to see. That's actually the pitch line right about there. From the chin to the top, from underneath the nose to the bottom of the chin. That's the pitch line of your natural jaw. That's human anatomy. 101. Why they stuck that out a little too far, who knows? But I've looked at anatomy, and I mean, I'm trying to be close to anatomy too. I'm trying to keep it as close to a real human face. So mine is not quite that pitch because I would have had to done way too much to this to make it a perfect pitch. But you'll see mine's closer. Hold on. Let's turn you. Yeah, mine's more straight up and down. And I had to add a little more chin to it because it just didn't it looked too flat. So I added a little bit more chin to the bottom. But now it looks really right. And remember, my pitch is just a little bit different here compared to his. His is a little higher in the back and it goes down further. Mine goes straight up and down here on the neck where his kind of tucks out and comes out. Where this here is not quite as pitched. So if you lean this forward just a little bit, that chin line falls in right where it needs to be. So it's kind of weird. But you can see all the lumps are going in here. There was a lot of lumpy stuff in here, and all in here especially. That's all smoothed out. That was with the rake. And it's looking good. And that lighting gives me the perfect opportunity. There's a little spot right in here that's too, what's the right word? It's too much of an edge. So we're just going to cut this back, make it more round. You're only taking away a little tiny bit, just to round it out. If this was a bone, that'd be different. But we got flesh over top, so you don't want to have anything looking like it's a jawline so dominant that it looks like chiseled. You don't want it to look chiseled. Yeah, see, I took that down. See how it's out of there now? Just that little tiny, oops, see that little tiny bit of clay I took off? Right there, right here. That's all I took off, little shavings. And as a matter of fact, let me just take it off of there again. You can see what I took off. just a slight little bit. How do you start from zero? Like, all right, hold on. Let me read that again. See, it disappears on my screen. Well, the first thing you have to do is you see the pot. I have a over there in the corner. You melt your clay, all right, because you're going to be working with big chunks of clay. And this armature is actually the size of a real human male head, all right, average male head, all right. So, and this armature, look up. I'll tell you what. When I'm done here, because I'm going to be off of here in a few minutes, look up Ed Head at monstermakers.com. And if you look up monstermakers.com, all one word, and look up Ed Head 2.0. All right, that's the one you want. Ed Head 2.0. And if you look at that armature, you'll then know and see just how much clay I put on this thing. What I'll do is I'll back up. And look at that still shot and compare that picture to what is on, how much clay is added to that. There's quite a bit. But the important thing is the eye holes match up. Underneath it there, the eyes are completely right in the exact same spot on the Ed head as my eye cuts. So that's how you actually build up. You have to make sure the nose is lined up. The mouth doesn't have to be lined up perfectly. But the eyes, the nose, and the ear holes have to be perfect. They have to be on that Ed head exactly in the same position. And even when you build it out, I took a toothpick and right where the ear hole is, let me turn this sideways. I first got a layer of clay on here, just enough to know where the ear was, right? But more importantly, I made sure that I had a toothpick sticking into that first layer of clay right where the ear hole was. And then I just kept adding, and I left that toothpick there, and same on the other side at the same time. And then I started adding the clay and building it out. And I kept using, this is ratty because I've been abusing this, but you want to make sure that you're measuring the head the whole time to get the right circumference of your head. Now I still got some smoothing out over here to do. See where the clay is? You see that line? That's not supposed to look like that. And it's still a little lumpy on this side. I did the other side last night, but I did fix this ear clef. I kind of call it the ear clef. That's the way that's supposed to look. All right. And so I have some smoothing out to do. You can see the little lumps here. And when you turn this and you change your lighting, you can see. Oh, I know I can fix it. I'm not worried about that. It's just that, it's just one of those. I'll tell you how I fix this. I'll put the phone down for 1 second. Give me a second. I'm going to put a little piece of clay right where that seam is. It's not really warm, this clay right now, so I'm going to warm it up for a second in my hand. It only takes a few seconds. I just roll it around. Give me a sec. I'm going to put it on there and then I'm going to show you what you do. Okay. See, now I put a little piece of clay in there to hide that little crease there. And then I take my finger, because this is somewhat soft, and I blend it in. You blend that into your other clay. And then when I get it blended that nicely, then I do some tooling to it. See that? You can barely tell that there was a seam there now. There was a little crease. But then what I do is I go in here and I just do this to this, and I take out. Now you can tell where the lumps are just by hitting that knife. All right, I can see the little lump right in here, the separation between the top layer of clay and that new layer right there. All right, so you're really working with like literally crumbs of clay. And when that blends together, where you don't see it anymore, then you know you're on the money. Are you serious? Are you going to get into some sculpting? Is that what you're going to do? I think there's a piece of something there. Yeah, there's a piece of hair or something in there. I got my tool over here. Hold on. I got to get the latex off of this. There's a piece of hair or something. Like right here. I don't know what that was. It was messing me up, I can tell you that. And always remember to go in every direction. All right, I gotta clean that clay off my blade. Cleaning my clay. You know, I think doing it, if I did it all over again, the first thing I would do is really study the human anatomy, especially the head and the face. If you're going to do mask making, really break out the books and study the human anatomy, especially angles, where the angles are. And you know, because when you're doing this, you know, the sculpting, to make it look like somebody, when you know the anatomy, all of a sudden you'll notice the difference, what makes my face different than yours, because you know the basic anatomy of a face. And if you have that visualized and memorized in your head, then all of a sudden you'll go, oh, well, now I know why his face looks so much different than mine. And I can make those, I can carve those, or, you know, sculpt those differences. And that's the difference between you know, coming away doing a, you know, the first thing is make sure that if you're going to do zombies, you're going to do, it doesn't matter what it is, werewolf, make sure the human anatomy is correct and then add to it or take away. So my advice is definitely. Well, then you're pretty good at, you're a pretty good artist then. Is that what you're saying? You want to do art. Now, here's what I would say to art. Art, if you're going to get into painting and stuff like that, it's very hard to make a living doing painting. You know, if you're going to do graphic design, that would be good. Mask making, it's just, you really got to be good. And I look, I haven't even, I'm just starting, you know, and I'm picking this Michael Myers thing. So you got to understand the Michael Myers mask, I can't mass produce this. I can only make like 25 a year without them coming after me, because this is copyrighted material. You cannot just, you know, make a whole bunch of masks. Now you might, well, no, because you're still part of the United States, so you can't get away with it either. So Puerto Rico is part of the United States. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to, if you were in a like, you know, different country, then I don't think they can mess with you. But with copyright. But if you're making a mask and it's copyright protected, you can't make too much money off of it. you start making a lot of money off of one thing that you do, it's anything that's copyrighted is um, it's just you're limited to how many you can make and how much money you can make. They'll come after you if you start mass producing those masks. Because no matter, even if it's my original sculpt and my version of this mask, it's still Michael Myers. It's still protected. So, with that being said, it's really hard to sell things that aren't in the movies. You know, if you can create a character, how do you make it popular? Well, the best way to make it really popular is get involved with movie production. I have a buddy that makes movies, so I can get into that realm if I want. When I start making my original masks, I'm gonna create characters, and he'll use them in his movies. Yeah, I mean, there's people that make a lot of money on this. Uh, I think, and I don't know what it is with when you sell them on eBay. You know, the collectors sometimes I saw one mask that was really good uh, sell for $3,700 on eBay, and it still stays in my head. I'm like, wow, it was a Michael Myers mask, but it's a bid. You know, you're paying for the art. I don't know. I don't know how you get around it. I don't know. That's a lot of money for a mask. Oh, I'm going to put it on eBay. I'm going to put this on eBay once I get it done, and I'm gonna see how this thing's see what the collectors think. You know, the collectors are the ones that make or break you. Real collectors that were willing to spend $1,000 for your mask. You know, that says something. You know, like if I put this on eBay, um, and all of a sudden, you know, I can't even put a starting bid because as soon as I put a price tag on eBay, well, they can do it. Like I said, if they're out of the country, if they're mass producing these masks and they're outside of the United States, they can't go after them. They're pretty much screwed. But if you live in the United States, you know these companies can come after you. Yeah, it's just like the record business or the music business. If you're getting music from somewhere foreign, like foreign country, uh, they can't really they can't come after you. Um, I don't know. Well, ASCAP and BMI is a different thing altogether, and I'm sure the movie produce these companies they do have themselves protected. If I all of a sudden started making, like, let's say I grew this company and I made it into something really big and I'm spitting out 1,000 masks a day, holy God, they would come after me so hard it wouldn't be funny because they paid millions of dollars for the copyrights for the mask. So you're making it and you don't have to pay anything for those copyrights. And, not even if they were available. So that's the thing. Most of these companies like Tots, Trick or Treat Studios, they own the copyrights to this mask, and when they mass produce it, they can because they own the copyrights. And what happens is, uh, they can make as many as they want in a day. It doesn't matter. But if you don't have the copyrights, and they paid a lot of money for the copyrights to that mask, they paid a lot of money. You're talking millions of dollars. And it's because they plan on making millions of dollars on selling the mask. You know, me, I'll be happy. I'm semi-retired. I'm 60 years old. Yeah, I'm good with just making extra money. To deviate my. Let me see. What do you? I didn't read that. Oh yeah. I mean, years ago, the mask. The ironic thing that it's. I always find this extremely funny. Is the Michael Myers mask was something that was made totally by accident. They literally made this mask. They took a Captain Kirk mask. Now think about the whole thing that happened. It's magical. It actually is very magical in how they created Michael Myers. They took a Captain Kirk, which was William Shatner's death mask. William Shatner actually talks about the mask. It was used in one of the Star Trek episodes. Captain Kirk had a death mask made. Um, Now, I think John Carpenter remembered seeing William Shatner's face with the eyes cut out in a movie. I'll give you a movie to look up, and you got to watch this movie if you haven't never seen it. The Devil's Reign, starring William Shatner and Ernest Borgnine. Look up that movie and watch that movie in its completion, and all of a sudden you're going to see a scene with William Shatner with no eyes in his eye sockets. And it's the movie that everybody is, made of wax. Anybody that becomes, and Ernest Borgnine's actually Satan himself. It's a creepy movie. It's a pretty cool movie. The Devil's Reign. You got to check that movie out. Watch it tonight. Trust me, you'll like it. Um, yeah, The Devil's Reign. You'll get an idea of what I think John Carpenter remembered by having this mask. I don't. This is just guesswork because you hear a lot of different stories, and coming directly from the people that were involved in making the mask. Um, William Shatner claimed that it was a death mask that was used in a Star Trek episode. All right, I think it was either an episode or it might have been no, I think it might have been in one of the movies. I don't know. I don't know when the sculpt was made, but he called it the death mask, and William Shatner did, and then they made. He said somebody got a hold of the rights, I guess, to making the Captain Kirk mask, and they mass produced a Captain Kirk mask that was sized for kids. It's a very small mask, like this over here. It's a small mask. All right, and they did a Captain Kirk mask. And what are the chances? They take this Captain Kirk mask, they peel the hairline back, they spray paint the face white, and then they put a little black spray paint in the hair. It wasn't dye because back then they didn't have spray dye for hair. They just spray painted the black hair with regular black paint. And that's why in Halloween 2, 1981, most of that hair it was blonde, its natural color again, because the hair came out. The way they were carrying it, the black would get all over their hands, and then they would touch the mask. And that's why the mask looks so dirty and so, cruddy in Halloween 2, because I think a lot of the hair lost all that paint and it ended up all over the mask. So, it was just, different people handling it, didn't care. They didn't think they thought when Halloween '78 was done, they were never going to make another Halloween. So, what are the chances? You cut the eye holes out. Yeah, he's going to be 91 soon. Um, he's about 90 and a half. He's about halfway through his 90th year. Yeah, I'm a big Shatner fan. I've met him a couple times. I'll tell you, the first time I met him blew my mind. All right. We went to Tennessee, and I'm not a big horse racing fan. I just went with a friend of mine that actually is a big horse racing fan. All right. And at the time, I don't think he was involved doing the horse racing, but I'm just probably about 20 years old. All right. And I'm in the stands. and I'm watching, and all of a sudden, on the prompter comes up and it says, "Oh, by the way, William Shatner's in our what did they say? In our William Shatner's here with you today, everybody." And I didn't know he was on the field. I yelled out real loud, "Oh man, cool man, we got Captain Kirk in the house!" Right? All of a sudden, I get a little tap on the back of my shoulder, and I turn around, and here he is standing. He's right behind me, laughing his ass off, and he says, "Thank you, son. That really made me feel amazing." And I was like, "Oh my God." I just like I poured it out because I said, "Man, you don't know. My dad and I, this we sit and we watch your Star Trek over and over and over again." My mom is like, "Didn't you see this already?" I told him the whole story how we used to watch the episodes over and over again. That is one show that I'll never get sick of watching. Yeah, so that's what happened. That was really cool. And it was, I don't know, it's a Kentucky Derby or something like that. That's where I was at. My friend had tickets. Yeah, that was really interesting. And then I uh, I met him at one of the conventions another time. I met him a couple times, at different conventions. I went to some Star Trek conventions, but I'm not one to get dressed up and do all that crazy stuff. I just wanted to get their autograph. And I think that was close to me when he came to this one convention. It was in Philadelphia. And we went there, and I said to him, "You remember me?" He looked at me. He says, "No." I says, "Do you remember at the horse at the?" I knew at the time what the name of the Derby was. I think it was the Kentucky Derby. I said, "The Kentucky, you're that kid?" I said, "Yeah." I says, "Man," he says, "I'll never forget that." He says, I didn't remember your face because you have aged some, but he says, "But I'll never forget that experience. That was so funny." He says, "I was laughing my ass off. I'll never forget it." So that was pretty cool. I did ask him. I asked him if he remembered the kid at the Kentucky Derby. And he did say, he says, "Yeah." He says, "I didn't remember your face, when I first said, 'Do you remember me?'" He didn't remember my face because he sees thousands of people every day, And I aged a little bit. That convention was probably 6, 7 years later when I went and saw him at the convention to get his autograph. I went and got his autograph, and I signed I actually made a phaser out of clay and then molded it into a plastic. But I made one of the phasers, and it actually lit up and actually had a light in it and everything. And I had him sign the handle. I still have it to this day. I just don't know where it is. I've buried it. I think it might be up in my attic still. I should have that on display down here. I really should. I should make a box. Yeah, I mean, I don't get too overwhelmed by uh, what do you call it? Celebrities. They're human too. You know what I mean? And most times they don't like being bothered too much. And when they're relaxing and it's just like me and me or anybody else. They want their private time, man, and it's really hard to get when you're a celebrity. I know you're not gonna believe this, but where I live, Oprah Winfrey's boyfriend, I'm close friends with him, Stedman. I'm pretty good friends with him, and my son is best friends with Stedman's nephew. Well, back when my son had surgery done on his chest, Stedman drove um, uh, Steve, Kyle's friend, Stedman's nephew. You know, he took him to see Kyle up in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and Stedman drove up in the big. I mean, it was like a huge truck, white truck. I'll never forget it. And he he rolls down the window. I says, "Oh man," I said, I feel bad because I can only have one visitor. I have to come downstairs in order for my son to have a visitor, a friend. So I can't even be up there with another person. He was only allowed to have one person in the room with him at any given time. So he says, "Oh no, don't worry. I'm going to drive around town." I says, "Besides, man, you'll get killed coming in here." Yeah, Stedman. It's Sted uh, M Men. I think it's Men, not Stedham. Yeah, it's Stedman, and he was he was really nice. Yeah, I think it's Stedman. That was his, I don't really know him well. Don't get me wrong. I don't know him well, but yeah, that's I think it might be Stedman or Stedman, Men. It might be Man or Men. But I don't know him real well, but I've met him a couple times because he lived here locally, uh, where in Whitesboro, New Jersey, and every once in a while Oprah Winfrey comes into town. She actually built a church here, and she comes into town, and it's crazy how she has to really talk about Hollywood makeup. She completely makes herself look like somebody completely different. And if she wants to go to the store, she can, but she has to be heavily made up. Complete costume, the whole 9 yards. She looks like an old. They make her look like an old woman, or something like that, so that nobody recognizes her. And there was a couple barbecues that I went to. I met her there. We were invited to a barbecue at Stedman's house, and she was there, and Steve was there, his nephew, and it's just it's interesting. It's a small world. It really is. It's a small world. You never know who you're going to meet. You never know. You don't know. But anyway, I don't see too much of them anymore. Kyle's grown, my son, and Steve is grown, and he's somewhere in another state, another country. I don't even know where he's at. But, you know, everybody's got their own lives to live, man. But I still got some lumps to clean up on this. You can see the lumps right here. I got to fix that. It looks a little too lumpy right in here. Yeah, I can do that while I'm yapping with you. I just want to smooth out this. Now you got to remember, this is the bump out. This ridge here is the bump out from here. That's that bump out. You don't want to cut into this. I'm just trying to smooth out the lumpier looks, that lumpy look here. That's pretty much it. Right there. Now we're going to take my paintbrush. And we're going to hit two spots. We're going to hit up there. And we're going to hit down here where I just got done. And the first thing you'll notice, when you add clay, when you smooth out like this, when you add clay, sorry, what's that? I'm not sure what you're. When you add clay, once it dries, you'll see how nice and smoothed out that looks now. It looks really good. but I can still see a little seam here and a little bit of repair work that has to be right underneath the ear here and right here on the ear cliff, ear lobe, should I say. Just needs a little more smoothing. Might have to add a little clay there. You don't want no bumps, bubbles, or, little imperfections. And I have the light at a perfect angle to actually repair and smooth this out really nice now. I might do that right now. Yeah, smooth out that top part pretty good. I see an area though. This right here. I don't want that little line there. Oh, I do want that line there. That's right. This line goes up and into the corner of this head just a little bit. Just a little bit of I'm just taking out the little bumps that I can see. Not much, just the little ones. I see just a little bit of clay that I took off of that. But just enough to be able to really see the reduction. So I'm going to stick that into that clay. Get a little bit of naphtha. I'm going to brush off some of this naphtha. I don't want that much wet going in here. When it comes to the lumps and stuff, the best way to look at your armors, you see those little lumps that I was seeing? Now you can see them on the camera. Those little tiny lumps. It's all about positioning of your light. All right. That's what you have to get out. You have to get those lumps out. Like I can see things that I don't like in there. Now, believe me, they're so small, those lumps, that when it becomes a latex mask, you won't see that at all. But I know it's there, so I'm going to fix it. If that makes sense. And I just keep making it so it's so nice and really smooth. And once I texture this thing and really make it a nice piece. See, I've got some work to do. Let me see. I've got some work to do here. So in the shadowing here, I see another ridge bump here that I don't want there. It's all about the lighting. It really is. See these little spots that are there? You just want to blend them in so there's no line there. See them lines all disappear? All right, once again, very little clay was taken off. You're working with such a small amount of clay. I get my paintbrush. Now, let me show you something here, but since we got the shadowing here, you know, when we smile, what we create is a crease here in our lip and a crease back here for our cheek line. There's a little bit of crease, even with the dip down, there's still a little bit of a crease here. These are little subtle things that you have to have in the sculpture, and it just looks more natural as a, you know, you don't want to miss out on those things, because if you do, your sculpture is not going to look natural. Now, I never go just straight down or straight across. I'm always moving in a circular motion, because I don't want to create one, especially when you're smoothing out. Like, I can see the low spots when I do that. And here you go. And here's what I'm saying. You can see the high spots. And the high spot, that was a lot of clay I took off of there. The high spots are the brighter shade of clay, and the darker spots are the low spots. So when you get it to where it's all nice and one color, and that would be lighter, you want it all light. When it's all light, you've got it smoothed out, especially when you're sculpting. See all the different shades of camera doesn't really do a great job with that, but smoothing out is the most important part. That really is. That really, you know, the next step is back here. I have my texturing sponges. Once I have the shape smoothed, where the shape is absolutely, you know, really almost flawless, like our human faces. Once that shape is smoothed out, then from there you coat the thing with naphtha, let it soak for a few seconds, and then you take that sponge and you just tap it into the and that creates a texture. So, my God, I got 159 minutes, and I still want to come back to later on tonight to do some sculpting. I didn't mean for this to stay on here that long. I got the hairline done. Let me see how that's turning out. As far as is the white disappearing? Yeah, it is starting to disappear. You got to look at the sides. That's where it's driest. But that's going to be till tomorrow before that really dries up. So that's how I get my lumps out. Yeah, when I get my lumps out of the clay, yeah, it's looking better. It's getting better. It's going to be till tomorrow before it actually is cured. The latex on the fire mask. But that's what I'll do. I'll be smoothing this out later on tonight. I'll put the 78 right on the back of the neck right here. Probably going to be. Well, I'll show you. Hold on, let me turn this. All right, so The 7 will be here. It'll start up around here, and it'll come down. It'll probably be about that big. The 7 and the 8 will be the same size over on this side. It'll be a 7 and an 8, and it'll be dripping blood. So maybe I'll go about that big, because I want the blood to run all the way down to the back of the neck. That'll be pretty cool. Yeah, I have to match the Night Creeper letters, not the custom corpses. They're different. But the Night Creeper letters is what I'm going to match. It's actually a font. I can't remember what it's called, but it's a pretty cool font. I added a little bit more blood dripping down on the back. But yeah, that'll be embedded in my masks. This way it's, it'll be cool looking. It'll be in the mask this way. Nobody's copying my mask, or they can't claim it's theirs. They did it. You tear the hair up, you'll be able to see the logo. The 78 will be a little noticeable at the very base, because the hair gets put, actually the top of the first hairline actually is up here, but it hangs down, the hair hangs down to about here, so you'll see the bottom of the 8 on there. You'll be able to lift up and see the Night Creeper, because my first hairline starts right underneath of the custom corpses. That's where I put my first hairline. Right underneath of it, not above it, right underneath of it. Right about right where this center cut is. See, that's a cut line, and you cut the mask, and then you want to make sure you got that circle on the back of your mask. So, but that's where I'm going to start my first hairline. It'll be the top of the ear, and right here, and right across, right to the top of the ear. And the rest, the hair will be just hanging off the head. So, I think my first mask, I may even go as far as making it human hair. I don't know. I want to try it. I want to try it so bad. Maybe I'll make my copy for myself for display of human hair. That would be awesome. Depends on how much I can get human hair for, man, because it's expensive. Human hair is not cheap. I can't put human hair in a mask and unless the collectors, if I start seeing collectors buying the mask on eBay, and they're giving me really good dollars for it, then I will switch to human hair, because then it's affordable and I can do it. But if I can't, if they're trying to buy the mask for $300 bucks, that's not saying much. Yeah, the mask has to sell for, $500, $600, $700, $800, $900 for me to actually switch to human hair. It just depends on how much I can get the human hair for, And I need a specific color. I need that brown. But I'm going to end this tutorial, and I got to print out. I got to find my I got to find my number 7 and 8 font. I need my fonts. So once I get the number 7 and 8, I'll print it, and then from there, I will put on the sculpture, punch it out, and then come back and we'll carve it in. And then I'll probably be just working on smoothing out. I actually probably got to smooth out the back of this head first before I can do anything else. That's the next step. I'm trying to multitask here today. Anyway, yeah, I want to come back and do this. So you guys have a wonderful day. I'll see you back here in a couple hours. Yeah, it does. I mean, I don't want to drop that bloodline down too far. And it's not going to be painted. It'll be in the mask, but it won't be painted. You know, it'll be just whatever the color of the mask is, whatever's there. It's gonna be there, but it's not gonna be something where I'm gonna draw attention to it. It's gonna be embedded in the mask. That's all. Um, yeah, I'm gonna try and come back on later on tonight. If not, I'll do it tomorrow. It doesn't matter to me at this point. I think we're supposed to get some crappy weather tomorrow, and I won't be able to make a mold anyway. So as long as I get close to, I mean, I still got the whole month of March. We could end up getting real cold weather, and I don't want to mold this thing and then not be able to make a latex mask. I want to mold this thing. My real goal was to shoot for April 1st, to have this molded by April 1st, so I can get it back on the bench and age it to look like the 2018 or the H40. You know, but only it'll be the Night Creeper. You know, and it'll say Night Creeper 78 will be the first mask, and then it'll say Night Creeper 40, and then it'll be Night Creeper Kills, and then it'll be Night Creeper Ends. If I have the ends, you know, if I have some really good photos of the mask by then. I may wait until the movie is released before I do the ends mask, because then they will release better pictures of the actual mask. Now, I saw some really cool things, concepts of the mask, where the mask was the I'll go on this. Let me go over here. A concept of the mask art was pretty cool. On this side was the burnt side, and on this side it was the mask bleeding into a skull. It was really cool. The eye hole was opened up a little bit more, and it looked like a skull here. And I thought that was a really cool concept. That I would definitely put. But then to do that mask, if that's the direction they're going, hey, yeah, that's going to be tomorrow. I'm going to burn that. That'll be the first thing I do. Then I'll go over to this and I'll start working on the sculpture. I thought about it. You know, I think the only thing I'm going to do tonight is actually cut out the letters, get the letters where I'm, or not the letters, the numbers, and get them ready for tomorrow. And I'll do everything tomorrow so you guys can see it, because this video is already running too late and it's kind of getting late. It's, what is it? I don't even know what time it is. Hold on. It's 5:30. So yeah, I'm not going to come back on in an hour. That's kind of stupid. So I did get this done. I got the herring done. You know, the Pompadour's where it needs to be. It's nice and high in the center. Styling, melding the hair, all that's going to take place tomorrow. And then I'm going to move over to here and I'm going to use those numbers and put them on the 78 and smooth out. I probably got to smooth out the neck first. I have to smooth that a little bit more. I can still see some bumps and lumps in the back of the neck. Some people would go, well, you know, you're not going to see that. It's under the hair. It's just, I'm a perfectionist. I want it right. I want it to look good. So, but the concept art I thought was cool. This side was like a skeleton where the mask melted into the skull. And then this side was burnt just the way it is now. And, but the concept of, if you're going to do that, that tells me that Michael Myers is not human. So if that's actually the direction they're going, that'd be pretty cool. All right, but I'm gonna say goodnight. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night. Peace. Hit the subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Hit the share, and definitely pound on that bell so you get the notifications. Thanks a lot. See you.